Dru Sjodin has been the star of everything in her life. She was the prom queen in high school. She had 2 jobs. She was in a sorority, and she was working towards a career in aviation. But under unfortunate circumstances, Dru became a star on national media. As Dru finishes her shift at a mall in North Dakota at Victoria's Secret, she makes a call to her boyfriend. Her boyfriend, Chris Lang, had no idea that this would be the last time he or any of her loved ones would get to talk to her. So on the phone, as they were just talking as normal, the last words that Dru was able to say was just kind of muttering, okay. And that was all. So this didn't mean much to Chris. Something horrific wasn't the first thing to come to his mind. The media at the time portrayed this call to be much more dramatic, claiming that she said, oh my god, and that was the last words, but turns out, according to the caller himself, that was not what she said. Concern was eventually raised when she calls her boyfriend Chris again, and he's left with just the sounds of static. And when she doesn't show up for her second job, they could confirm that something isn't right. So by surveillance and evidence and the circumstance of the crime, it is believed that Dru gives this man, who is later identified as her perpetrator, Alfonso Rodriguez, a ride to his car. It is also believed that he threatened her with a knife to get into his car after that. Less than 2 weeks later, Rodriguez was arrested in connection to her disappearance. A little background on Rodriguez. He was a convicted sex offender. He, 6 months prior, was released from a 23-year conviction of a stabbing and attempted kidnapping of a woman, as well as a sexual assault of another woman. His story of his whereabouts the day that Dru went missing just didn't make sense. They could also gather him as a suspect from some kind of suspicious receipts that he had. It took nearly 4 months of agony for the family to actually find out what happened to their Dru. After a massive search, her body was found in a ravine in Crookston, Minnesota. The conditions of her body were horrific. She was tied, beaten, stabbed, and sexually assaulted. Her cause of death was narrowed down to a few circumstances. Either she passed away from a neck injury/wound, she passed away from suffocation, or she passed away from some kind of exposure to an element. Unfortunately, stuff like this happens a lot in the true crime world if you follow it, but I wanted to focus on this one just because of the way it changed the American justice system. It was a weird case because it crossed state lines between North Dakota and Minnesota. Neither North Dakota or Minnesota allows the death penalty. However, once something crosses state lines, then it has federal jurisdiction. However, when a crime crosses state lines, it has federal jurisdiction, which allows the death penalty. Another forever impact of this case is the development of the Dru Sjodin law. This law was signed by our president, which was Bush at the time, and it developed the Dru Sjodin Sex Offender Registry, which allowed the public to view the whereabouts of any sex offender anywhere in the US. For some reason, I can't find a ending transition to this video that I recorded, so I'm just gonna place this here. Thank you guys for watching, and I will always link my sources below so you know where I got the information, as well as where you can find more information on it as well. Happy New Year, everyone, and I will see you next time.